This is Radio TV Phono Nut, and I thought we'd shift gears for this video and do a television, which is something we haven't done in a while. Or we might do a TV. It depends on what I find when I get in it. But what we have here today is a little 9-inch solid-state Sears portable black and white TV, most likely from the early 70's. And since it has a continuous UHF tuner instead of a click-stop tuner, that would put it prior to about 75, so this thing's got some age on it. This is one of the ones that you can either operate it off of 120 volts AC, or you can use a 12-volt cigarette lighter cord, or at one time it had a built-in rechargeable battery pack. Here's the back of the set. The model number prefix is 562, and I think that corresponds to Toshiba, so they're the ones that built this. Here's the storage area for the optional rechargeable battery pack. And as you can see, there's not one installed, which is probably just as well, because it would be long ago expired by now, and even if it was good, you couldn't use this TV as a portable television anymore, since all of the broadcast signals are digital now. Yeah, so this would have to be connected to a AC operated digital converter box, so that would defeat the purpose of it being portable. The only way this could be portable is if you had some kind of in-house analog transmitter, or you modified a converter box to operate on battery power, and I don't know too many people that's going to do that for just so they can watch an old TV while they're in their backyard. Alright, let's connect it up and see what happens. Okay, we have the converter box connected, and just using a clip lead for an antenna, so we're not going to get much, but we don't have to get much just to test this out. Alright, let's turn it on and see what happens. Obviously this is an instant on set where the filament stays on all the time. I'm seeing a little snow on the screen, not much in the way of audio. Channel 3, and I'm not getting anything. Picture tube looks very tired, which is no surprise for a set with instant on, because filament stays on all the time, and a lot of picture tubes got prematurely cooked that way. Well, you know, this could be a problem. I forgot to screw the coax coming out of the converter box to the matching transformer on the back of the TV. Yeah, that'll do it every time, won't it? Okay, we have distorted audio. Very weak distorted audio, and the horizontal frequency looks way off, so let me find the horizontal hold control and give it a little tweak. Alright, I think this is it. I'm turning it. It seems to be getting better. Okay, there's a picture. So we're making progress already here. On camera it looks brighter than it does in person, I can tell you that. I don't know how well you can tell this on camera or not, but let's try to find another channel. We don't need any sports to get picked up for copyright content. Although as blurry and messed up as this is, I don't even know that it would hit on it, but you never know. And of course on Saturday about all we're going to find is sports. But yeah, I don't know if you can tell this on camera or not, but whenever you turn the brightness up, you can see the picture kind of blow out a little bit. And that combined with the blurry image is a sign of a weak tube, so let's get this open and slap the CRT tester on it.
Still waiting. Still nothing.
Oh, that's as clear as the audio's ever been.
Well, just have that nut. Bobby, for the love of God, just tell me. Whatever hobby you have, it can't be worth it.
Well, we got clear audio and a buzz in the speaker now, so...
You sure you don't want to go...
Obviously a bad solder connection or either a very dirty pot. Well, I think I killed the whole set. Okay.
You know what? I thought it would be more important to tell you about my nut allergy.
Knock the power cord loose.
You have a nut allergy? Nice! The girls who escaped and the guards took us to the bowling alley.
Well, you know, at one time this was the standard method of home TV repair.
Caroline, I miss...
Here's the chassis. It's definitely a Toshiba, and I can tell it's a pretty high-hour set by the amount of crud on the inside. You know, high voltage attracts dust and crud, so you can tell by the amount in there pretty much if a set's high hours or not. This one's going to be a little bit of a bear to work on because the power transformer and all that remains inside the cabinet back, so we're going to have to get creative as far as connecting this up for testing it. Okay, this is a Type 9 WP4 CRT. So we want to go grab our Syncor tube tester and see what it looks like. Okay, I have the CRT tester connected, and this set is so compact and the socket is so big. As you can tell, I had to remove the chassis and move it to the side to even have room to plug the CRT socket. This is a Syncor CR70 picture tube checker. I think it was first introduced around '84 and was made up through the 90s. It was really during its time, it was the cat's meow as far as CRT testers go. And as far as I'm concerned, is still a nice tester. It was a lucky $20 flea market find for me. I don't even think the vendor knew what they had. In fact, on the day I bought it, I was getting ready to leave and said, well, let me make one more pass through and see if I missed something. And I saw this thing sitting down on the floor, and I said, what's this? And I picked it up and saw the $20 price tag and what it was, and I couldn't get to the register fast enough with it. Alright, I have the setup chart, but the print's kind of small, so I downloaded the version off the internet and just wrote down the settings needed for my picture tube. Alright, we're set to 12 volts. HK short, G1 short cutoff, which is probably not even gonna... Yeah, we have good cutoff. Let's set it to the little black area there. Now let's check emission. As I expected, the emission is nothing. Now, we really don't have a lot to lose here. This is more or less a resurrection. As far as our rejuvenate options, we have remove G1 shorts, rejuvenate, auto restore, manual 1 restore, and manual 2 restore. Now, it brings up a point. If you're getting into old televisions, you really need a CRT tester, and preferably a later model, one that has a decent rejuvenate function. The first CRT tester I ever owned was one of the old blue-cased B&K 465s. It was given to me back around 1990 by a TV shop who no longer used it because it was obsolete. And it did a good job at checking older black and white tubes and Delta gun color tubes, which is, at the time, really all I needed it for, because the majority of the sets I was bringing home were older sets like that. And I was able to rejuvenate some black and white tubes with it, but it used what I call brute force rejuvenation, where pretty much all they do is dump the high voltage charge from a capacitor off between the cathode and grid of the CRT, and it's supposed to blast the contamination off the cathode. Well, unfortunately, it'll also take some of the emitting material off of the cathode too, if you're not careful. But color tubes, I never had much luck with them. Maybe every tube I got was worn out, I don't know, but I remember loaning that particular tester to an older guy to rejuvenate an old 25-inch color tube that he had. And he was a TV repairman, so he should have known better, and I warned him, don't kick it all the way up to Reju 3, do it on 1. Well, he didn't listen to me. He thought more was better, and he flipped it up to 3 and hit the button and finished his CRT off. You only want to use enough rejuvenation to get the job done. Now, it wasn't too many years I started getting newer TVs, and I needed a newer tester, so I bought a B&K 470, which had more sockets for testing the newer tubes, and it had a current limited rejuvenation feature, and I've saved a lot more tubes with that one. Now, I'll be honest with you, since I bought this tester, I have not repaired nearly as many TVs as I did a long time ago, because I was, except for vintage sets, I was trying to move away from that because nobody wants 90s and 2000s CRT sets anymore. The last ones I had I couldn't get rid of, so I gave them away. Or let me put it this way, I couldn't get rid of them for any amount of money. And the few times I've used this to rejuvenate something, I've always used the auto restore feature. So we set the selector to auto restore and hold the button down for 3 meter cycles and then see what it reads. So, auto restore. Alright, let's do this. Hold down the rejuvenate button. Good, that's 3 cycles. Now let's go back to emission. Oh yes. Now let's reset our cutoff now. Emission. Yeah, that's pretty good. We'll let it sit there a few minutes and see if it stays up. And then we'll run a light. Okay, the way the life test works is you decrease the filament voltage by a volt or 2, and if the meter stays up in the green or very slowly falls down into the bad, the tube's in pretty good shape. However, if it drops rapidly down into the bad, then don't expect too much time out of your tube. So we'll push our life test button and see what happens. I'm holding it down and it's staying up there. That's impressive. So this tube might actually last a while. You know, the way this power transformer's in here, it's not very conducive for easy service. I suppose I could take all this out, but it'd be a bit of a chore too. Alright, let's turn it on and see what happens. Oh yes. Of course our audio's still out, but we knew that was going to be. Alright, brightness. Yeah, that's got a nice picture now. It's a little grainy, but that's probably because of my DTV box. Alright, now we gotta worry with the audio issue.
What he's doing in the community that he loves.
At Percy Bland State Farm, we're more than just an agent. Service agency with a licensed sales.
And these kind of problems can be difficult to fix.
Your car or boat, Percy Bland State Farm. We're more and exactly what you need.
Weather in Mississippi from Twin States News at
Alright, I got it apart, trying to find the bad connection, and like so many of them do, it's gonna behave now. Usually I can tap on areas of the circuit board and make it screw up, but now it's not screwing up, so all I know how to do is just do some random soldering. This is the audio section here. I have an idea it might be under this shield because those little transformers have a tendency to have cracked solder connections, so all I know to do is just start resoldering and see what happens. Okay, I went over all the solder connections in the sound IF portion and the audio output portion. Whether that fixes it or not, I don't know. Like I said, these kind of problems can be sometimes difficult to fix. Sometimes you'll think you have them fixed and then they'll act up. More than once I've sent a set home with somebody after it played beautifully here, and they get it home and in 10 minutes it starts messing up again. And sometimes the issue is not a solder connection issue. I remember one particular set. It was a Curtis Mathis 19-inch. That ought to tell you something right there. Curtis Mathis, the most overrated piece of junk TV ever made. Well, it had an intermittent problem, and after I soldered on it and soldered on it and soldered on it, I discovered it was an intermittent IC socket. So I just hardwired all the ICs in place, and that took care of the problem. In high school, when I was taking electronics, someone brought in a little 9-inch Hitachi black and white. It had intermittent audio similar to what this one is. And I soldered on it and soldered on it and soldered on it, and my instructor worked on it some, and I worked on it some, and finally we pulled out a transistor in the audio circuit, and if you connected it to the meter and tapped on the transistor, it would go berserk. So that one had an intermittent transistor. I also touched up a few iffy-looking connections over here in the horizontal and high-voltage circuit. And although I don't plan on recapping this set, you can see this electrolytic here. By the flyback, the paper is kind of plastic wrap is kind of shrunk on it, so that tells me it's gotten hot. So I may ESR these three capacitors and see what it looks like, and if they look too bad, I'll change them with something out of my junk box, but I'm not going to go hog wild on recapping this. In fact, I'm not going to do much more than what I'm doing to it. Here's the cap. It's a 220 microfarad, 16 volt Sanyo brand. It checks pretty good. The ESR is fine. The value measures about 280. I replaced it because this one's obviously been hot. Do I think I'm going to notice any difference in performance? Not a bit, but this one's probably on its way out anyway, so I'm just going ahead and replace it. Okay, I'm on a blank channel. I hope the white noise is not copyrighted because tuned to a channel. I don't know whether the dropout I was hearing was digital TV signal dropout, which I feel more like that it is, or the TV dropping out, but it doesn't seem to be dropping out now, and this is about all I can do. If it won't quit, then there's not much else I can do, so I'm going to put the shield back in place and probably button it all up. Alright, we're back together, and you know, if one's going to mess up, it's going to do it once it's assembled.
And Dylan's a real fighter. Doctors are hoping. DMA this week is in the morning. I'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Have a great evening. Good night.
Must be 6 o'clock.
New episode this Monday at 8/7 Central, only on the CW.
Those cold drafts got you.
And yeah, the picture's a little grainy, but I think that's because of the cable. I know it's a bit intermittent, so. And we also know the RF signal out of some of these DTV boxes are not that great anyway, even though this is a digital stream, and it's one of the better boxes, but some TVs just don't like the RF signal that's coming out of the box.
Call now with your free in-home estimate.
Thanks for watching WTOK TV. From WTOK TV, this is News Center 11.
Flooding concerns continue for residents close to local rivers as more rain is on the way soon. Also, the Second Meridian Open Black Rodeo is today. We take a look live at the action due to heavy flooding. And this is our top story tonight. The rising of the Pearl, Big Black, and Tom Bigby rivers.
Do you mean funny? If one of you guys bought it.
The toughest qualifying courses.
Yeah, PBS, they've changed their RF channel, and I haven't rescanned this box yet.
Need to know whether you're looking.
I want to wrap some legs around my waist.
And even if I did rescan the box, I don't think I'd get it with just this little piece of wire on here. As you can hear, we're having dropout with the stations we're getting.
How high the water will go. We'll take a look at the rising waters in Madison County. This is on Beach Bluff Road, southwest of the Farm Haven community, which is northeast of the Barnett Reservoir. Residents were forced to travel by boat in an effort to get their belongings out of their homes and get to safety.
It's rough. I just hope it don't go that far.
Now, final note about tube rejuvenation. Even though this passed the life test, rejuvenation should still be considered a temporary fix. But since nobody's manufacturing or rebuilding CRTs that I know of anymore, a lot of times your only option to save an old set is to rejuvenate the tube unless you can somehow find a used good tube from another set or find a new old stock tube somewhere. And often the cost of a new old stock tube is more than the set's worth. I'm sure I could find a new old stock tube for this TV, but there again, it would probably cost more than the TV's worth.
Due to the Valentine's Day. The flood not only displaces residents, but wildlife as well. This herd of deer gathered on the north side of Lakeland Drive near the Gill.
All right, there we go. Hope you got something out of all that, and more to come later. Crusty. More crustification. Parts repair. The record player turns on. The player spins very slowly. The sound is distorted. Shows cosmetic wear is pictured. But yet it's still sold for $19.95. Here's mine. Doesn't this look a lot better? And mine even works. Now, if that crusty thing was worth $20, I think mine's worth what I'm asking. Don't you?